Let's stand and say the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, I'd like to welcome everybody and anybody that's watching online. Hopefully we get through this COVID stuff pretty soon and maybe start coming back here to watch them, but or should invite you back to watch them. Let's say it that way. It's a little more polite. So future board meetings, March 9th and 23rd here. No, that's right. March 9th is the awards banquet.
It's supposed to be at 5 o'clock and is it still say 5 on yours?
Yeah.
Or 6? It's supposed to be
It
5
still
o'clock.
says 6 here. And did you say that? I remember it's at 5 o'clock at Honey.
We changed it, but I don't know why it's not on change.
So that we can be there for the awards. Is it here?
I was correct. The meeting has to be here.
Yes, it's here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I remember we talked about that last year, but it's still, the last I knew, we said it's
So legality.
yeah.
Some Indiana code. We're
All right.
trying to follow what our attorney tells us.
So let me see if I can say this straight now. March 9th, 5 p.m. here is our next meeting. March 23rd at 6 p.m., 2 weeks after that, will be our regular meeting here. And then also April 13th at 6 p.m. here. We have no revisions to the agenda, so we'll hop right into the public recognition. Have a recommendation to approve the donation of 165 books, estimated value of $1,600 from United Fund for Southwood Elementary and Metro North Elementary pre-K and kindergarten classes. Also have a recommendation to approve a $500 anonymous donation for Northfield Athletics. Recommendation to approve a $35 donation from Kathy Gilman for Southwood High School prom. Recommendation to approve an $1,800 grant from Early Learning Indiana Comeback Stronger Fund supported by the Lilly Endowment. And a recommendation to approve Donor's Choice Grant for Mrs. Herring's kindergarten class at Metro North Elementary for STEM materials. The estimated value for that is $372.86.
And before you ask for a motion to approve all this, Mrs. Moore, do you want to share a little bit about the process with the grant from the Early Learning Indiana Comeback Stronger Fund and how you doubled your money?
I know. In the fall, we wrote a grant to Early Learning Indiana for our little Norse and received, I believe we wrote our grant was for about $17,000, and they decided to give us 20, which I have no problem sending that. And then this one, because we received that grant in their round 1 last fall, we were eligible to apply for round 2 funding for a grant as well. We were approved up to $9,000 for that grant funding. So of course my proposal was right up to $9,000. And when we got our letter last week, our email was for awarding $18,000. So we will gladly use that money. Our intent is that we will purchase additional furniture and materials for our threes. So that we'll have some new things for those classrooms that are specific for littler people. So
Very nice.
it's exciting.
Yeah.
I move, Todd, we accept the grant and everything else that was presented.
So a motion and second to approve all of the donations that were previously read. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, school recognition. I'll let Mr. Kiefaber.
Yeah, thank you. We will start with Mr. Martin, share his recognitions for Shark Creek Elementary.
You probably saw that I highlighted them on the document. Is that highlight on yours?
Yeah.
It's so that I can read this really little
Okay.
chance.
All right.
I didn't realize how small my phone had gotten. We are excited at Shark Creek because we have 2 robotics teams that have qualified for state. And that state competition will be on the 6th of March. It's going to be a virtual competition of some type. I don't know exactly. Likely someone else does. But we're excited. As far as I'm told, this is the first time Shark Creek has had 2 teams qualify in the same year. And so we'd like to recognize not only Amber and Kevin Bretzman, who are the coaches, and these two sets of teammates. So Team A is Kiana Bretzman, Keisha DeCuba, Ashlyn Macy, and Easton McKillop. And then also Team B, Nate Hodson, Preston Moore, Gavin Lester, Braden Gidley, Cole Hemingway, Madeline Holly, and Stella Stevens. So very pleased. Mrs. Bretzman took on a new challenge with this. Her husband was very willing to be a part, and we, every time I talk to them, it's just about progress. They're really excited about progress. So good for them. Good for the kids.
All right, well, thank you. Now we'll go to Mr. McDivitt at White's.
Thank you, Mr. Faber. I want to start by just thanking Barry Boyer for all the great work he does with our students at White's. Barry was recently out for about 2.5 weeks with COVID-19, and he was never hospitalized, but he was in pretty bad shape for a while. And not that I didn't appreciate him before, I appreciate him more. But one of the things that's really cool about Barry is he has a way of interacting with our students that a lot of our students are used to, at least in their mind, being disrespected by adults. And Barry has a way of communicating with them that communicates that he respects them tremendously and gives them room to grow. And Barry's just fantastic. I cannot say good things about Barry. He does a super job for us. And then I wanted to recognize 3 students, Mia W., Desmond S., and Dayton B. Sometimes I think we forget that just arriving to school, putting your head down and getting to work is a characteristic that a lot of our kids struggle with, and those 3 kids have certainly exemplified themselves in coming to school, getting their work done, being a positive role model for the other kids around, and so just wanted to recognize those 3 kids for some really good work.
All right, thank you very much. And we switched out, that is not Mrs. Boone back there, that's Mrs. Moore. So we'll have Mrs. Moore from Metro North go ahead and share recognitions.
We also have our 2 robotics team that have first, and it's Metro North first for us. We've been close in the past and have come up just a few points shy of qualifying for state. But this year, both of our teams will compete on the 6th. So congratulations to James Sloans, Charlotte Arrington, Liam King, Andrew Beal, Madeline Foudray, Riker McKillop, Jackson Rinberger, Cheyenne Wells, Elisha Bork, and Coy Norris. A couple weeks ago, it seems like months ago, but I think that's because of all of our extra e-learning days in there. But I had a great grandparent who babysits her great grandson after school that called me, and we had a wonderful conversation. She was calling to let me know that there had been a transportation issue. So then I take a deep breath, and she then goes on to tell me that her great-grandson gets off at the library stop in Roman, and Miss Wendy is the bus driver, and she pulled out, let kids off, and that Miss Wendy had noticed that there was an odd vehicle in the parking lot there at the library. And she watched as her great-grandson, went on his way. What wound up being the great-grandson's grandpa. Yes, I got it right. The grandpa who had driven down to pick him up from the bus stop. But usually he walks down, or great-grandma walks down to pick him up. But Wendy watched, stopped traffic, and waited to make sure that that was indeed someone she knew in the vehicle, and keeping an extra watchful eye. And she, the great-grandmother said, I know now I never have to worry. He's a kindergartner, so throw that in there as well. And so she said, I know now that I don't have to worry, that he's in great caring hands, and just was very appreciative of Wendy. And all of our bus drivers do that. We get calls in the afternoon. Can you call and make sure that so-and-so is home because there's not a vehicle in the driveway? They just watch those things. And when it's little ones, it's important that we know that they're going home to a safe place. Also on transportation, again, it wasn't last week, but it was the week before. Larry Swan's bus broke down near Amy and Andy Eads' home. And the Eads opened their home for those kids to come inside, so they didn't have to sit on that cold bus and wait for a replacement vehicle to come. And I had, a first grader who's a little bit of a worrier say, I didn't know how we were gonna get to school. She's in tears at my turn on. I just didn't know how we were gonna get to school and what we were gonna do and how we were gonna miss lunch and the breakfast. And then the Eads came out and we got to go in the house and everything was fine. And Mrs. Eads just made me and so when I talked with Amy, I don't think she had any idea how much that little bit of hospitality meant to a 6-year-old, but it was everything to them. And I just think it's simple things like that they didn't think anything of it, that is important for our community and our kids. So my last one is just thank you to Amy Schmidt and Erica Tyson. They did an amazing job running the Wabash County Robotics League, and without their hard work and their organization and their communication, we would not have had really a robotic season. So we just really appreciate them going above and beyond the coaching duties to organize that event. It was four Friday nights that all 12 robotics teams in the counties pretty much invaded South Waddell so that they could robot and do their thing. So thank you to those ladies.
Thank you. And I have the opportunity to go ahead and share from other principals and directors. So first of all, from Andrew McDaniel, Southwood Junior Senior High School would like to recognize the students who auditioned for and made it to the Indiana All-State Choir. All 5 of the students who auditioned made it into the choir. Because of the pandemic, the number of participants was reduced from 250 to 150. The Southwood had the most students in this area make it to the choir. This area includes 6 counties. These students are Isaiah King, Cage Dubois, Caitlin Rank, Lindsay Silvers, and Isabel Davis. The students will perform on June 4th in Carmel. Congrats to our students and congratulations for Mrs. Kiefer for her leadership and instruction. And just to let you know, typically those students who actually audition, a lot of times they don't make it. And so she has taught for many, many years in another school district and now in our school district, and said this is the first time that she really remembers that all of the students who audition actually made it. So all 5 did. So congratulations to them. And then moving forward, we will go to Mr. Snyder. Congratulations to the Norfolk girls basketball team on a great season. The team won the TRC sectional regional and had a tough loss, of course, at semi-state. Thanks to the players and coaches, and congratulations on a great season. He also says, congratulations to Grant Dale on TRC and sectional championship. Grant swims at the state meet in Indy this Friday. Good luck to Grant at the state meet and congrats on a great season. This is the 2nd year that he has participated in the state meet. Basically, the preliminaries are on Friday, and then if he does well, then he can go ahead and swim on Saturday. Northfield is excited to announce that Grant Dale's work, Quarantine Much, was selected as one of the 5 American Visions nominees for this year. This means that out of 1,410 total works entered into the region, the Grant's work is one of the 5 best of show works chosen to represent our region at the national level. At the national level, one will be selected as the American Visions medalist. So Grant has a 1 in 5 chance of winning the American Vision medal at nationals. Grant's work will be featured on the title wall of the exhibit and receive special recognition during the virtual award ceremony on February 14th, which is our past. Congratulations, Grant, and thank you, art teacher Adam Zweigel, for all he has done for the support of the artist at NHS. And since we have the technology here, I will just show you what he did. And so Grant Dale, Quarantine Much, gold key there. So as a swimmer, I don't think he did that underwater. I think he did it in our class, but very talented to do what he does in the pool. Congratulations. I have some more here. So, what was that one? NHS had 2 teams qualify for the Indiana VEX Robotics State Remote Skills Championship. We've talked about those before, but the competition will be held remotely on March 6th. Good luck to team members. 7th grade, Mason Lyons, Logan Lyons, Neil Long. 8th grade, Hank Gray, Luke Halper, and also Connor Dillingham. And I still have some more. Mrs. Boone for the CAR program would like to recognize Josanna Korn, academic advisor to our CAR students, for the extensive amount of time and organizational efforts it has taken to plan I-STEP testing for our juniors and seniors residing throughout the state of Indiana. With the interruption of weather and COVID, we've been able to push forward and meet with over 100 students throughout the state, and the task is not yet complete. We're still rolling. Much of our ability to complete this incredible lift is due to Mrs. Korn's advanced preparation, communication with every individual student and parent guardians months this in advance, and her ability to organize and mobilize our team to meet the task. We sincerely appreciate her leadership and hard work ensuring that students are able to meet this piece of graduation requirement. So think about that, doing the testing, not just in our schools, but traveling across the state of Indiana. And she has another thing that she would like to mention. The CAR program would also like to extend appreciation to our juniors and seniors, as well as their parents and guardians for their time and efforts it took to participate in I-STEP. Many of our students and parents made multiple adjustments to their work schedules and sacrificed time and finances to ensure our students arrived at the regional test sites throughout the state. We're extremely grateful for and proud for their efforts and commitment to their child's education. Additionally, we had key community members in Johnson County and Huntington County who opened their doors to our students and allowed our team to set up test sites despite the concern of COVID. Natalie Fellier and her team at Boys and Girls Club of Johnson County and Jan Williams at the Huntington County Youth Service Bureau have become key partners with our school district throughout the month of February and into the foreseeable future by opening their doors, creating exceptional testing environments, and hosting our MSD CAR students in their academic pursuits. Much gratitude from the CAR team to our parents, students, and regional partner, community partners. And I do know that Jan Williams, she does help us a lot with our prevention. When we talk prevention for drugs in the classroom, she's the one that organized a lot of the elementary programs in the past. So that's that. Mr. Boone, congratulations to our robotics teams. A tremendous season competing for the first time in the local robotics league. Our final competition last week is where the hardware was up for grabs. The Red Circuit Breakers 4th grade scored a first place finish in the Teamwork Challenge competition, which is an automatic state qualifier. The Circuit Knights 6th grade team won the Excellence Award, automatic state qualifier. The top overall award given to a team at a competition. The Gray Circuit Breakers 5th grade won the Design Award given to the team that demonstrates great engineering design skills. We learned yesterday that due to their high ranking in the state for the skills scores for the season, the Gray Circuit Breakers and the Circuit Bites 3rd grade, and also earned invitations to the VEX Robotics State Championships. This virtual event will take place on March 6th, like you've heard many times tonight. All 4 teams finished in the top 62 teams out of nearly 175 in the state with their skills ranking. We are extremely proud of their hard work, determination, and teamwork-oriented attitudes of all of our robotics students. Congratulations to our coaches, Mrs. Erica Tyson, Mrs. Amy Schmidt, and Mr. Dan Wright as well. It's great to have that many of them. Let me see if I missed any. Metro North already did hers. I want to make sure I don't miss any. And I think that's it, Mr.
Okay.
Daisy.
All right.
Great to have all those recognitions.
Yeah, a lot of great accomplishments. Moving on to the public comment, agenda items only portion. I think I skipped that last time. We'll give anybody an opportunity.
I will say that Mrs. Schmidt is watching and she wanted to thank Mrs. Moore for the kind words.
Nothing else? All right, we're going to move on to the consent agenda items. I need approval for the minutes of our last regular meeting.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
A motion and second to approve the minutes from our last meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Claims.
On there, Chris, on page 4, I'm trying to I'm just following.
124,000.
Yes.
That is the intercom systems that we're updating, replacing the alarm systems in all of the buildings. And that was going to be paid mostly out of the COPS grant that we were awarded, that $345,000 grant. So that's just continued payments for the work that's been done.
I had one, just because I'm new, I had seen that. The snow removal was a big ticket. Is it usually, it's that much?
Well, a lot of it depends on how much they've come in and plowed for that period of time. Salt, sometimes they just come and do salt. Just kind of depends on what Steve asked them to do.
And obviously, this has been a very unusual year.
I think there was one time we spent for the whole year. There was one time we spent for the whole year, it was almost like $70,000 in snow removal.
I guess we could bring the kids in just shovel.
Instead of canceling, we just
Bring them in.
bring
The
them
order.
I moved to approve claims.
Second.
Motion and second to accept claims. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Payroll.
Not much new with payroll, just some end of winter season sport claims will start filtering through.
I move the payroll.
Second.
Motion and second to approve payroll. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Financial summary.
So this is the education fund. So the cash flow, obviously, we've only had 1 month of actuals. So this is kind of our first look at a projected amount through the year. And obviously, this is not something that's set in stone. It's a fluid document that will change as information changes. And for example, this current document reflects estimated costs based off trends and current teacher contract obligations. The expenses do not reflect any potential wage increase at this point in time. Revenue reflects estimated returns based off of past trends. The basic grant revenue does reflect 2020 ADM and December special ed ADM accounts and carries those throughout the year. So some other things that will come up that will cause some of those numbers to change from the revenue side is 2021 February ADM count numbers. And then next month, I'll have to submit an estimated ADM account for July through December expenditures. And then we'll have the September actual ADM counts. That will all play a role in what's factored. The other thing that's important to realize and understand with this is that this is a legislation by budget year. So they'll put out a 2-year budget, which will impact how much dollars schools will get. So that could also play an impact and role on those actuals as well. I believe the House has ran one scenario of what their budget would look like for schools, and it would see us seeing about I think it was just over a $50 increase per kid. So better than nothing.
As long as we're not going backwards.
The state house.
Mm-hmm. And then it will go to the Senate. The Senate will make their revisions. It'll go through probably a couple different times, and then they'll have a final approval of what that would look like.
So there's still time to go backwards then.
There is still time to go backwards. That is true.
Well, you see the foolishness of our government and the 1.9 trillion COVID relief under discussion, and they have education in there for 2022 and 2023. I just wonder if I'd ever make it here.
As far as what?
Dollars would
Oh.
ever make it here.
From the federal side?
Yeah, I do.
A lot of times when we get federal dollars, there's a lot of different restrictions and use for them. Our hands are a lot more tied than when they come directly from the state. I doubt that will be passed on to us. It'll come directly from the federal government if we were to get dollars, which we are about to get a second round of CARE dollars. But we don't know the exact amount yet. So that's education, and then the other one is the operation, same type of trends there. Doesn't reflect, potential increases in expenses or salaries. Revenue estimates will probably be pretty close to being those amounts. They won't be exact, obviously, but those will be a lot closer to target just because we know what our tax dollars, what we potentially should be receiving from our tax dollars. So there's that. And like I said, we'll adjust that every month and bring that to you guys just so you can kind of keep track of the ups and downs of cash flow out of those two funds. Any questions? Okay.
Okay, well, if no other questions, we'll move on to personnel. Under resignation, we have Jenny Wilson, cafeteria manager at Metro North Elementary, and that's effective tomorrow. Retirement, Joy Edding, teacher at Northfield, effective at the end of the year. Kathy Steele, retirement custodian at Northfield High School. Northfield Junior High wrestling coaches, Scott Pennington, head coach, Eric Kirtland, and Ed Shennefield, assistant coaches. Northfield coaches for the spring, Brandon Baker, head softball, Melissa Allen, Rick Brewer, Jordan Scott, Kyle France, Kyle France are all assistant. Softball coaches, Gary Hunter is a volunteer softball coach, as well as Jordan Ekman. Tori Schaefer, head baseball coach. Stan Cox, assistant baseball coach. Greg Tomlinson and Morgan Wicklinger are also assistant baseball coaches. Ryan Sincroft, junior high track. Cody McClure, junior high head golf. Aaron Shaw, volunteer assistant, junior high golf. Troy Bear, volunteer assistant, junior high golf. Was it Ty? I'm sorry. Sorry, Ty. Colin Dawes, head golf coach. Matt Burkhart, assistant baseball. Adams Weevil, head track. Scott Hoppard, volunteer assistant track. Krista Hoover, assistant track. Jenna Halderman, assistant track. Marianne Milam, head tennis. And Casey Dyson, assistant tennis. And then on Southwood coaches for the spring, Carl Pace, head softball. Gary Marion and Chad Lambert and Joe Govan, assistant softball. Cynthia Bell, head tennis. Gary Dale, head boys golf. Devin Dale, assistant boys golf. Brad Wright, junior high golf. Ron Houston, assistant junior high golf. Warren Daly, head baseball. Dalton Gentry, assistant baseball. Corey Blocker, assistant baseball. Danny Lloyd, assistant baseball. And Zach Ball, assistant baseball. And I'm feeling old because one of those baseball coaches was a little league team that I coached.
And if I can just mention Joy Edding, we appreciate what she's done for us. She hasn't been with us a long time. She came to us from the Fort Wayne Community Schools, but she came to us, did a nice job, and wish her well as she retires at the end of the school year.
I went through the slate.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear you say. Okay, we have a motion and second to approve personnel as read. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Reports, Heartland Career Center. Matt, you got anything this time?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We approved the school calendar, and sometimes that's a challenge because you got 5 schools and they all don't line up. But North Miami, MSD, and Wabash are all pretty close together. It's Manchester and Peru have different breaks and so on. But it works out. Makes it tough for them to schedule. They would like a state calendar for everybody. That way there's no changing it. We approved Ivy Tech adult industrial maintenance class at Heartland. We don't charge them for space because we borrow some of their space. But those for adults, so that's something if somebody wants in the community wants that, that'll be there. They applied for a Perkins grant, $75,000 to $100,000. And the idea is for a new certification for the ag class. And what they're trying to do is get a drone for the and that's pretty neat. They think that drone would cost 50 grand. And they would get to learn how to drive that, and it actually sprays.
Wow.
Bex has one down there, and they showed us that. That's pretty neat. Also, next year, they are going to have a basic emergency medical technician class for kids wanting to go into EMTs and so on like that. So that's kind of exciting. And that's it. But that's pretty neat stuff. If they get that grant, to get that other one, this EMT class, and they'll be much like the CDL class. Taught that way.
Superintendent's report.
Yeah, I have several, but they'll go pretty quickly. Just a COVID-19 report. Our quarantine list as of today was only 12 students, so obviously that's much better. It's been progressively getting better. Our new guidance, of course, our county is yellow, 1.0, so that means that we can have 50% in our buildings as far as activities, games, things like that. Of course, our winter season's almost over. We're going to be outside. But then also 100 at a gathering. So we are just still discussing things like graduation and prom and all those fun things at the end of the year for our high school students. Also, I just want to thank Cole White. He's one of our MSD WC advocates, but obviously he also oversees the superintendent of the Wabash County Highway Department. We've been in contact a lot the last week for some reason, but they try to do a lot of things, and the resources obviously are limited. So appreciate all the things and the communication he's done for us to help that out. Whenever we call for certain specific things, he definitely directs those other people to get where they need to be to make sure we have better situations going on. So, and just to give you a little update with our RISE programs that we have, right now we have 3 classrooms. We have one teacher that you've already accepted his retirement, Fred Misson, at the end of the school year, but we are looking at servicing our own MSD students. And so right now we would have 5 students in elementary, so we're going to change that program from a K through 3 building. I'm going to start over here. Yeah, K through 3 and a 4, 5, 6, and make it a K through 6 program, and then we'll continue to have a 7 through 12 program. And then also along those same lines with preschool, just to give you an update, 3-year-olds right now that have applied to be at Southwood Elementary, 13 students. For the 4-year-olds, we have 14 students. And then at Metro North, we have 11 registered, and then 37 registered for the 4-year-old program. And so we still have some time here through middle of March to continue with looking at that. I learned, just want to let you know that I went ahead and signed off along with several other superintendents in Northeast Indiana on behalf of MSD to just share our thoughts as far as not having iLearn this year because of all the situations. We are much, we have a better situation at MSD because we don't have as many virtual students and things like that, but there's still a lot of quarantine that went on. And so not that we'll make a difference, but hopefully letters that have been going out to the State House hopefully will help out with that. So just to say this is not the right time. We can actually give them data with our NWEA. Most of the school districts in our study council use that, and so we can actually let them know, because one reason why they want iLearn is they want to know what learning loss has occurred because of COVID-19. We can give them that information because we already have the data instead of using so much other testing time instead of having instruction time. And also going along with that, House Bill 1005, which you continue to hear about, passed through the House, going to the Senate. I went ahead and talked with both legislators, House Representative Snow and Senator Zay, about not wanting them to vote for that. And a lot of other people have done that. At some point, we may want to do a resolution, but I can talk to you more about that later. And then just to give you an update for our community and for everyone, our ADM count from fall to spring is up. We're up 50 students. And so that's very good. We appreciate that and all the work that everybody does to make that happen. And one thing that Dr. Kuhn mentioned as far as different numbers, we were down this year on our December count with special education. A lot of that has to do with the CAR program because of fewer students at the beginning. But anyway, that does affect the cash flow, not necessarily the cash flow, I guess it does, but it changes what we receive from the state. So that is good news there. And I believe that's all. I just want to make some quick updates.
Just to clarify, they're gonna increase it because we got more students? Do they,
Two different things here. So we get monies for the actual counts for September and February.
okay,
So that will increase.
okay.
But then December 1st is a special education count. Since those numbers were lower, that will be decreased then. That part of those monies will be decreased. And then we also get the monies through Heartland Career Center. And that's all based on enrollment too, for first semester only though. They have to be enrolled in first semester. Anything second semester, we don't get monies for those. Okay?
Curriculum report.
I just want to echo that we have 12 robotics teams that qualified for state, and that's really pretty impressive. That's 12 of the 14. And we hosted other schools around the area who didn't have any of those, and so hats off to all of our coaches in this time to keep student interest and to keep pushing on that. And so I'm very impressed with that. All board members should have received something inviting them to March 9th, our academic awards banquet. So hopefully you guys can make that. We try to alternate speakers, alumni that have gone on to do prestigious things. And we're going to double it up though. So for those of you keeping track, last year it was going to be Lieutenant Colonel Chris Keister from Southwood. But he's having some things out going on in his life and where he's at with his job and the base and whatever, that he couldn't come. And so, and last year, of course, he was going to talk, but it was COVID and that whole mess. So Lisa Duncan, who is now Lisa Streeter, dentist downtown, has accepted graciously the chance to come speak. And so she'll be our guest speaker March 9th.
And I was supposed to remind you too, if you could get your RSVPs in, if possible, with cash or check or money order or whatever.
Tip included.
We take cash also.
And that's after the board meeting.
Yes, so March 9th, 5 o'clock
5
here.
o'clock here.
Then we will finish up and we will go to Honeywell Center at Legacy Hall at 6:30. Yes.
That's right.
All right, so we'll move on to new business. Real short on our new business. We have a recommendation to approve going to one meeting each in our April. April 4th will be just the, April is the 4th, not April 4th, but April is the 4th Tuesday only. In June, we go the second Tuesday only. October, the second Tuesday only. And in December, the second Tuesday as well. So April, June, October, and December will be one meeting per those months.
And really only thing different than what in the past, sometimes October and December, we only have one. Sometimes in October this year, we did have two. So it's really mainly just adding 2 more months. And those are strategically placed based on different schedules, not schedules, but calendar.
So hopefully you've had a chance to look at that.
I move to approve that new schedule.
Motion and second to approve the new schedule for those 4 months, going to one meeting per those months. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have no unfinished business, no board policy. Now we'll wait for a second and let it catch up for public comment for any item, not just any agenda item.
The only drawback to those, kind of back to one, the new guys are getting off too.
They'll have training.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Ryan Ridgway pointed out that success builds success. I assume he's referring to our robotics teams. And so I think he was complimenting their success there with that. And I'd say that's the only comment.
Okay. No items from board members? Okay, we're adjourned.